Herzlich willkommen zurück, Leute, zu Call of Juarez Gunslinger und wir schalten auch direkt wieder in die Action und wahrscheinlich zur nächsten Cutscene.
Well, I don't know about you boys, but I'm pretty beat.
Well, it's too damn bad you never found that Bob character. Seems a shame he never had to pay.
Well, funny thing about that, I did have one more chance at him. Six months ago, I heard that Butch and Sundance were back in the States and had gathered up some of their old gang. I tracked them down, hoping that Roscoe Bob Bryant had returned with them.
So you're saying they didn't die down in Bolivia?
That's what I'm saying.
The good, the bad and the dead. Werden wir die Rache doch noch kriegen? Vollzählig.
40 years I had waited to get my hands on the last of my brother's killers. Not even an army of demons could have stopped me now. Both Johnny Ringo and Jim Reed fell fairly quickly. But the last one, Roscoe Bob Bryant, that son of a bitch had managed to escape my vengeance time and time again. I couldn't even be certain I'd recognize him after all those years. By now, he had to be close to 70.
For all you know, he could have been dead.
That thought had indeed crossed my mind, as did others.
Ist noch nicht tot.
For instance, did my thirst for vengeance turn me into something worse than the man I was after? By this point in my storied career, I had killed more men than Bob Bryant ever had. Nothing could stop me from taking his life.
Echt niemand.
I've been after that killer forever. From the time I rode with Billy the Kid. But that chapter of my story you already know.
Chapter of that fairy tale, you mean?
Suddenly it was 1910. There I was, an old man roaming a ghost town dead almost 2 decades.
Oh, bin ich echt den Berg wieder runtergefallen? Das ist ja so neblig wieder. Der wilde Westen, das war schon gefährlich. Hier wieder in der Stadt drinne. Verfolgen wir den Weg. Hier war er drin, der uns erschossen hat. Versucht hat zu erschießen. Ne? Können wir uns hier rausquetschen? Ja.
The town was falling apart, just like me.
Hätte ich sehen müssen. Eine Geisterstadt.
But I wasn't about to call it quits. Even though the ghosts of my dead brothers were begging me to end what I started so long ago.
Mr. Graves, are
40
you all
Jahre
right?
später.
Would you like some water?
The Wild Bunch knew I was there. They were after a treasure they had hidden before they fled, buried in the grave of a dead amigo. Some folks think the town is haunted, so they figured there wouldn't be many people poking around.
Ja, diese Geisterstadt hier. Ein starkes Problem. Aber ein Geheimnis haben wir gefunden.
I intended to fill that grave with Bob Bryant's corpse. But like I said, the bandits knew I was on to them. They lured me in and hit me with everything they had.
We're losing too many men!
Oh, da war das Dynamit direkt vor mir. Das habe ich nicht gesehen. Machen wir direkt weiter, aber nehmen diesmal das goldene Gewehr. Komme ich hier irgendwie raus? Keine Fluchtmöglichkeit. Habe ich umzingelt. Die Hütte durchlöchert, ich kann nicht auch besser rausschießen.
But you obviously prevailed since you're sitting here telling us the tale.
Actually, in that moment, I did not prevail.
So I suppose we're talking to a ghost.
Funny you should put it like that, Jack.
Dynamit geht hoch. Boah, ein spannendes Shootout hier.
Because when I woke up,
From the dead?
there was silence all around me.
Es war ruhig. Weniger Dynamit, mehr Kombos.
I could swear to God I saw Billy then.
Billy who?
Billy, the kid. William Bonney. He was shooting at me from a rooftop. Here and there, and even over there.
Oh, da konnte ich nicht schießen. Es war einfach dieser Flashback. Hat mich in dem Moment überrascht. Ich konnte aber der Kugel noch ausweichen und es sah ganz anders aus. Wie es genau geschehen war. Seht ihr jetzt? Billy.
So I am right. You are tested.
Pat
in the
Garrett.
head.
Überall
Mr.
Geister.
Greaves, perhaps we should switch you to coffee?
You see that old Indian again, too?
No, but I did see Billy's killer. Patrick Floyd Garrett. He came at me guns a-blazing. But I knew that old war horse had died 2 years before. I wondered if maybe I was dead too and confronting the ghosts of my past. Perhaps all my sins were coming back to haunt me and drag me down to perdition. I saw Henry Plummer throw dynamite at me. And in the gates of the cemetery, I saw John Wesley Hart, just like I remembered him.
Boah, so war das damals gewesen in der Geisterstadt.
Robert Ollinger appeared with his terrible double-barrel shotgun. But no ghost army was stopping me.
My father-in-law got hit with a fallen branch. He spent the rest of his life talking to dogs.
Newman Hayes Clanton, William Brocious, John Peters Ringo, they all wanted me dead.
Ich war umzingelt. Von alten Geistern.
The Dalton brothers, Robert and
Dalton.
Grattan, guardians of the Garden of the Dead.
Oh Gott, die ganzen
George
da.
Curry and Harvey Logan, alias Kid Curry, both thirsty for vengeance from the great beyond.
Alle kommen aus dem Jenseits zurück.
Jesse, Woodson, James, and Jim Reed. Each one deader than the next. I thought I would go crazy.
Thought?
Gott, wer lebt? Wer ist echt? Wer ist noch da? Was nicht?
Finally, I saw Harry Alonzo Longabaugh.
The Sundance Kid?
Like a general leading his legion of the dead.
You told us before that you'd seen him alive.
He was alive.
Jetzt war er
Then I heard a
tot.
voice call to me from afar. It was Robert Leroy Parker, a.k.a. Butch Cassidy, coming at me from out of the fog.
Thanks for taking care of that bastard.
Butch Cassidy. Und Sundance Kid. Gegen Silas Greaves. The good, the bad and the dead. Ein
But the kid wasn't
Drei-Mann-Showdown.
quite deceased. Not yet.
Takes more than one little bullet to kill the likes of me, partner.
Those two looked like they hadn't seen each other for quite a while. Clearly, they were no longer amigos.
Shit. I was hoping I wouldn't have to kill you. You won't have to, Butch. I'm killing you first.
I asked them
genial
about
ist das
Bob
denn?
Bryant, but they were too busy with their own heated conversation.
Let me get this shit straight. You want my money and the love of my life? You frittered it all away, Butch. Eda's mine. So is that damn money.
I didn't want to shoot anybody until I had an answer to my question, but those boys didn't give me much of a choice.
Sehr geil. The Mexican standoff. Use Q and E to switch your focus to the enemy who's looking at you.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid died there in that cemetery not 6 months ago.
Einer musste den Anfang machen, auch wenn es unehrenhaft war. Eine schöne Cutscene und wahrscheinlich das super Outro seht ihr dann im nächsten Part von Call of Juarez Gunslinger. Macht's gut, Leute. Tschüss.